Great to have you back. This is the South African Morning. So we're all certainly feeling the financial squeeze as the cost of living rises. And many of us need to cut back on some luxuries. I know I have too. But what are people not willing to give up? That's the question. I'm joined by consumer expert Moeshfieka Botha to share some insights. Thank you for your time, Moeshfieka, and good morning to you. What is it? What is that one item or even items that even though we know we need to cut back because, financially we're going through it, that it seems most people are still not willing to let go of?
Good morning. I think that the item is perhaps different for everyone, but one thing about that item is that it brings some sort of solace. It's items which make us feel good. And one has to admit that over the last 2 years, South Africans have been under enormous strain. South Africans and citizens of the globe have been under enormous strain because of COVID and because of subsequent lockdowns and that affecting our jobs and our income. And therefore, I find that very many people have the idea of, I'm going to make this, I deserve this. Yeah. I deserve this. This is going to make me feel good. And I deserve this. And that's all good and well if you have the extra cash to be doing that. What we are finding, though, is very many people are now dipping into credit cards. Very many people are dipping into personal loans. And here we're even talking about those who still have access to credit. So it's about knowing what you want and how you are going to purchase it. And something that we've also got to take into account here is that many people are just so used to buying things that we don't even know what the true cost of something is anymore. Yeah. We'll just throw it into the basket without it even being on the list. And that is when all your expenses add up. When you start putting things in that you haven't budgeted for, when you start wanting to make buys to make yourself feel better, not always something that you're going to be putting on a list. And that is something that we should look at doing.
Yeah, there's one particular trend that I've seen on social media and Instagram particularly of a voiceover reel where this voiceover says, leave me and my money alone. Don't worry about what I'm doing with my money. It's for me to use. I suppose my question is, have you seen a trend, even on social media, where people feel like, listen, you only live once. I'm not worried about tomorrow. I want to be happy now. I want to live this luxurious lifestyle now and purchase what I have now. If I'm broke tomorrow, I'll deal with it tomorrow. Have you encountered that? And what's your advice around that mentality, particularly around young people as well when it comes to their finances?
You know what? I find that young people there are sort of two categories of young people. People who just aren't, we only live once, and the other people who start planning and investing very, very early in their lives already, and that definitely would then pay off for them in the long run. But what young people need to know is that if they want to have a you only live once, let me buy what I want to buy, let me do what I want to do, attitude towards something, you are going to have the disposable cash to do that. Because what we are also finding is that young people are now having access to credit cards, access to personal loans, access to vehicle finance, access to other kinds of unsecured debt, and they're not being able to service it after they have bought what they wanted to. That then negatively affects their credit record, and that then negatively affects access to credit for things like a home loan, things like business, startup development money. And people have to start taking that into account. It is fantastic if you have the cash at your disposal to only live once and to spend and to live the life you want to live. But a country like South Africa's that is currently sitting with nearly 2 trillion rands of consumer debt, I really think we should be reassessing our look at our finances.
All right, well, we'll leave it then. I appreciate this advice. Very sound advice during this crunching times when we look at fuel price, cost of living, cost of food, the food basket. I mean, you can't really have more with just 1,500 rands, for example. So this sound advice from you, Moeshfieka, is going to go a long way. Thank you so much for speaking to us about this. Consumer expert Moeshfieka Botha on just the wisdom in saving and just saving for tomorrow, making sure that you check out alleviating your debt during this really tough economic times.